Formula One looks simple at first. 20 drivers, 20 cars, lights go out, and the race is on. But behind those helmets are egos, legends, rookies, villains, golden boys, and a few who really shouldn't be here. So I, a very, very intelligent F1 fan, will try to explain the insanely fast and hot-headed drivers. Except I'm not very intelligent, but anyways, I'll give you a quick, messy breakdown. Basically cramming a Drive to Survive episode in 20 minutes, so buckle up, grab some snacks, and let's get into it. Starting with none other than the GOAT of Formula One, Max Verstappen. And if you disagree, then maybe you lack mental maturity. However, this man is so dedicated to racing that he survives on it. He is so loyal to his team that he actually wore his team shirt to his baby's gender reveal. Like, bro couldn't even take a day off branding.
How?
But that is exactly what makes him one of the fastest drivers on the grid.
That's why he's the GOAT!
From becoming the youngest race winner in F1 history to stacking championships even when his car wasn't the fastest. Max has built his career on raw speed and non-stop focus, but none of it came easy. He grew up under pressure from his dad, who basically wanted a racing machine. But the best part about it is that it made him hungry to win to the point that he'll do anything, from aggressive blocking, fighting, you name it. Honestly, I respect it, because every champion needs that hunger. If he ends up wheel to wheel with someone, good luck, because Max isn't stopping for anyone, and he definitely doesn't give a shit what you think about it. Coming next is the driver with the worst luck to exist. And yes, I am talking about Charles Leclerc. This guy has been through so much trauma that he has nightmares of pit stops.
Mais je dormais et je me suis réveillé dans un cauchemar.
Et t'as crié
Box, box.
Charles has had many ups and downs in his career. While 2024 was his year, the years before that were absolute torture for him, and for us, honestly. It feels like Charles is in an abusive relationship with Ferrari. He knows being with them is destroying him, but his sunk cost fallacy tells him he has invested in them too much to back down now.
We could do as a team because strategy was really good, everything was really good, but
years upon years, Ferrari has wasted this man's talent. Like, I get it. In F1, no one is entitled to a good car. You just have to do your best even if you have the shittiest car. But it still is frustrating seeing his prime being wasted. But even with all the jokes about his sulking face, you can still see the potential. He's just waiting for the right moment to prove himself. It could be tomorrow, it could be years from now. Either way, when it happens, it's definitely gonna be worth the wait. Drum roll. Because sliding in next is one of the oldest drivers on the grid and 8-time world champion. Yes, you heard that right. 8-time world champion Sir Lewis Hamilton. The guy's name is so famous, even your grandma knows it. From racing for McLaren, to smashing it with Mercedes, and now chasing records with Ferrari, which is no easy task.
Here we go again.
But hey, it's Lewis Hamilton. Anything can happen. On track, he is fast as lightning, and calm as a storm rolling in. And don't even get me started on his talent, because it's just untouchable. People throw around the phrase generational wealth way too easy these days. But with Hamilton, it's fully earned. He has been a monster his whole career. Even if he looks a bit past his peak, you still can't count him out. Because he's just like that one friend in your group who somehow wins every game night, no matter what, and can pull the impossible out of nowhere. Rolling in next are the golden boys of McLaren. Australia's Oscar Piastri and Britain's Lando Norris. One of the greatest duos in F1. On one side is Lando Norris, the Twitch streamer turned race winner, and a guy who somehow manages to look both 17 and 27 at the same time. Fast, smooth, and driving like the track personally offended him. On the other side is Oscar Piastri, the calm, quiet Australian who says almost nothing and keeps collecting podiums like it's a part of his daily routine. They couldn't be more different. Lando is all chaotic energy and momentum, whereas Oscar is pure focus and precision. But every weekend, they end up right next to each other on the track, pushing the team forward. And that combination of skill and style is exactly what makes them one of the most exciting teams to watch. Sixth on the list is Fernando Alonso, a guy who feels like he's been in Formula One forever, because he kinda has. Fernando is known for a few things. First, his talent for joining teams at the worst possible moment, like signing with McLaren in 2015 and ended up driving a car that moved like it was powered by hopes and prayers.
Well, I feel very proud and very honored to be part of this team. And I grew up as a child watching.
Second, he can turn cars into something special. Like, just put this man in an average car and he'll drag it into the top 5 like a dad pulling groceries up the stairs in one trip. Third, he is young. Not young, but young in the sense that he still drives like his reaction time didn't get the memo about aging. He's still out there fighting like a veteran boxer who refuses to retire. This is why people call Fernando young. Not because of his age, but because he still drives like time forgot about him. Then you've got the OGs, the experienced guys who have been around long enough to see teammates come and go like seasons of a TV show. Nicholas Hülkenberg leads that group, the man with more races than most and no podiums, and yet still somehow he keeps dragging midfield cars into crazy qualifying spots like he's squeezing extra speed out of thin air. Kevin Magnussen has the complete opposite vibe, more like a Viking in a race suit, always ready to fight for every inch of the track. And then there's Valtteri Bottas, the chillest man on the grid. Basically living his best life while casually driving an F1 car on the weekends. But to understand these veterans, you have to know the legends they grew up watching, like Ayrton Senna, the genius who could bend cars around corners like it was on rails, James Hunt, the party king who somehow still won races, Alain Prost, the master of strategy who always moved 3 steps ahead, and last but not least, Niki Lauda, the survivor who came back from a fiery crash to dominate once again. These guys might not be shiny new rookies anymore, but they've got years of experience, nerves of steel, and that quiet confidence that makes them dangerous whenever the madness starts. Next is the one and only smooth operator, Carlos Sainz. Honestly speaking, Carlos is one of the most underrated drivers on the grid. He is calm, smart, and always on point, like the guy who's never seen in class but still tops the exam. He might not be the loudest or the flashiest driver, but he is fast in his own secretive way. Being for real, this man has fans everywhere. Like, people literally thirst over him. Honestly, I get why, but anyways. If you need a driver to bring the car home clean on Sunday, Carlos is your guy. Here comes the disappointment of F1. Oh, sorry. I meant Lance Stroll. I won't go much into the rabbit hole with this one. I already have a therapy session lined up after the last video I made. So if you want to know why he's such a bum, do watch the video right below. The most hated driver in Formula 1. Now rolls in 2 astonishing Frenchmen of Formula 1. Esti Besti and Pierre Gasly. No offense. Honestly, I absolutely meant what I said. However, the only similar thing about these two are that they're French. Whereas Ocon is stubborn and defensive, considering this guy has drama with everyone from Max to Fernando to Sergio, and even his own teammate. His energy off the track is calm and collected, but on the grid, he is an absolute bully. However, Gasly, on the other hand, is smoother and more emotional, driving best when confidence is high and in love with Tsunoda. Anyways, now slides in Alex Albon, whose comeback story everyone loves, starting with Red Bull, where honestly, he couldn't perform well. And boom, Max rolls in and he is fired, but he never gave up and came back stronger with Williams. He's gentle on tires, smart with strategy, and drags cars higher than they probably deserve to be. Honestly, Albon drives like someone who learned the hard way, and trust me, that experience shows every single weekend. With that said, let's move on to another 2019 rookie, George Russell. I genuinely think George is really fast. Like, he can pull off amazing laps and make clean overtakes that make you sit back and go, wow, this guy is elite. But then out of nowhere, he'll hit a wall, tag another car, and somehow end up in a mess. And you're just staring at the screen and wondering why. He is also a little bit of a meme magnet without even trying. Things just happen around him. Off track, he is all calm and composed, acting all macho with the shirtless pictures. Honestly, like this man needs an excuse to take his shirt off. But once the helmet goes on, George becomes a mix of brilliance and insanity. You never know if you'll get a perfect race or a what the absolute just happened moment. And honestly, that unpredictability is a part of his charm. Now, let's talk about the newbies. And I'm saying this as a very invested F1 fan who has already picked favorites way too early. These guys are not just rookies. They are stepping into huge pressure from day one. Like, Kimi Antonelli is already called the future of the sport, and that's big weight for someone so young. Oliver Behrman showed real speed early, and now people expect him to deliver every single time. Isaac Hadjar is a part of the Red Bull system, which basically means means you must perform fast or feel the heat immediately. Franco Colapinto is emotional and fearless on the track, which makes him exciting to watch, but also unpredictable. Liam Lawson has already stepped in during tough moments, proving he can handle the pressure, making him, well, you can say, in the spotlight. Arvid Lindblad is one of the youngest prospects, with a lot of hype building around him before he even arrives. Gabriel Bortoleto looks calm and intelligent, the type of driver who focuses on steady progress instead of big headlines. These drivers are not legends yet. They're simply the next wave trying to build their names from scratch in one of the hardest sports in the world. Alright, now it's time to get serious, because we are talking about Michael Schumacher. 7 world titles, 91 wins. In the early 2000s, he wasn't just winning, he was owning the sport. He helped Ferrari, a very questionable team, transform into a racing machine and led them through their most successful years. Michael Schumacher was focused, ruthless, and always one step ahead. If he was leading into turn 1, the race was basically over. Even after retirement, he came back with Mercedes in 2010 to 2012 to help build the team, even though they didn't win like before. In 2013, he even had a skiing accident, which left him with brain injuries. And since then, his life has been very private. But his impact on Formula 1 is huge. He inspired drivers like Sebastian Vettel, and even his son Mick made it to F1, which honestly didn't work out the way we wanted anyways. Schumacher isn't just a champion, he is a big part of F1 history. And now comes the nonchalant king of F1, Kimi Räikkönen. One of the most iconic drivers in Formula 1. His calm attitude is top-notch, whether he is on the radio during a heated battle or giving interviews off track. He stays completely unbothered. Remember Monaco when his car exploded? And Kimi just walked straight to his yacht shirtless like it was part of his day. No stress, no panic. On track, he is one of the cleanest drivers, always giving space to others, avoiding unnecessary crashes. Honestly, his nickname, Schumacher's Nightmare, shows how dangerous and smart he is when it comes to racing. Kimi always had this competitive edge that made him the legend he is, respected by fans and rivals alike. Next is the firecracker of F1, Yuki Tsunoda. He's young, energetic, and gets easily worked up, which honestly makes every race with him unpredictable. I personally love watching this guy explode on TV. Like, the way he curses out the whole grid is just some elite level. He has also been through some tough times with Red Bull, but it hasn't affected him much, because he keeps bouncing back like nothing has ever happened. He has big dreams like opening his own restaurant one day, and somehow managing to be smaller than every driver on the grid while being all over the place in a car. Add his funny obsession with Pierre Gasly to the mix, and you've got a personality that's impossible to ignore. Sebastian Vettel has seen pretty much everything F1 can throw at a driver. He dominated the sport with Red Bull, winning 4 championships, and then moved to Ferrari, where things didn't actually go his way. Predictable enough, Ferrari has a habit of destroying talent. Anyways, he still kept his cool. While racing, he is smart and calculated, knowing exactly where to push and when to hold back. But off track, he is charming and funny, always ready with an answer that'll make you think, yep, this guy's thinking 3 steps ahead. This clever energy is what made him one of the most respected drivers of his generation. And now, let's talk about some of the, let's say, special drivers. You know, the ones that somehow make it to F1 and leave you scratching your head. Nicholas Latifi and Logan Sargent. Both former Williams drivers are super likable, nice guys, but somehow addicted to crashing and spinning like they're auditioning for a reality show called How to F in a Good Car. Nikita Mazepin, on the other hand, is the driver I hate more than Lance, because this guy is just straight up disgusting. Like, imagine someone taking your don't touch me rule and throwing it out the window. That's Mazepin. Before we wrap up the day, let's mention some honorable drivers. Starting with the unluckiest guy, Danny Kvyat. The guy who lost his lover, kid, and even his seat to none other than my GOAT, Max Verstappen.
I'm happy with the chance they've given to me, and
Then rolls in Sergio Perez. A Mexican driver whose talent only shines when the stars align, but his experience with Red Bull hasn't always been kind. Now, my favorite driver with the cheekiest smile on the grid, Daniel Ricciardo, the man who has the funniest radio messages and interactions on the grid, and never fails to make everyone around him laugh. And yes, the same man who even beat Max in equal cars. Though he hasn't been the luckiest, he is for sure the most memorable driver to exist with just his personality. Next is Nico Rosberg, the quiet Monaco man who outsmarted Lewis Hamilton in the same machinery. No jokes, that actually happened. Romain Grosjean, the man who survived one of the most insane crashes in Formula 1 and came back stronger. Last but not least is Robert Kubica, a driver with insane talent, but never had a car to fight for a championship, but still somehow made the worst machine look halfway decent. And that's a wrap, folks. From legends who made your jaw drop, to the rookies trying to find their place, and to the special cases who keep us screaming at our seats. Formula 1 is more than just cars going around in circles. It's speed, skill, and drama, all rolled into one insane show that keeps us all hooked. Every driver, whether they're a superstar, meme, or just there, adds something to the story. So next time you watch a race, remember, behind every helmet is a personality, history, and a reason we can't look away. With that being said, if you want the full tea on the grid's most controversial character, make sure to check out my latest video, The Most Hated Driver in F1, because trust me, after watching that, you'll see why some drivers probably belong on the streets.